Hello everyone and welcome to today's stream. We got one of our filmmakers running into shot there. So today we will be talking to the filmmakers that won the Manchester Audience Choice Award from last stream.
Hello everyone and welcome to today's stream.
So someone has got it on in the background. If you could mute that would be great.
So today we will be talking to the filmmakers that won the Manchester Audience Choice Award from last stream. Welcome to today's stream. Someone has got it on in the background.
So there is a bit of feedback. Does anyone have the stream currently on loud?
Talking to the filmmakers that won
Lucio, I believe it's you. There we go. It's done. Thank you. Wherever that was coming from, I do apologise. So as we were saying, we have got our filmmakers here for the Manchester Audience Choice winners, and we'll be going through a director's commentary. So let's find out a little bit more about who our filmmakers are. So let's start with Team Intimate and Ariel and Michael. Why don't you say a little bit more about who you are?
Hi, Liftoff. My name is Ariel. I'm one of the directors, together with my brother Mike, directors and writers of The Intimate Touch. And we're based, both of us, in Gothenburg, Sweden.
Amazing. Well, welcome to the stream today. And as you saw, and as you'll hear on the stream, your film was very well taken for the Manchester Festival. So I do look forward to delving in more and finding out a little bit more about the process and how this story came to life. Irene and Carolina, why don't you introduce yourselves as well?
Yes, I'm Irene from Zeeland, and this is
Carolina Kzan.
I'm the producer, and Carolina is the director of Hel Questioning Out Loud. We're based in Paris, so joining you from there.
Thank you for joining us. And Lucio, hi, welcome.
Hello, everybody. Sorry, my daughter just came back home. So, my name is Lucio, I'm Italian, and what else? I'm a filmmaker.
And a filmmaker.
I live in Brussels since 7 years.
Perfect. And we'll be screening your film, The Yellow Queen, in a moment. So why don't we start with the first film, The Intimate Touch. So I'm going to get that playing for you now on the director's commentary, and that's about to start now. So as that starts to play, why don't you tell us a little bit more about the inspiration behind your piece, Michael and Ariel?
Sure. I can't see if it's playing now, but the opening sequence of the film actually has a lot to do with the inspiration behind the film, because we actually got this idea quite a few years ago from a media debate that went on in Sweden, where a Muslim intern got fired because he didn't want to shake the hand of his female boss. And there was kind of a debate around this because she felt that he was being sexist, and he felt that she wasn't respecting his religious freedom. So it was kind of an interesting opposition of freedoms, I guess you could call it. And we didn't really know what to make of it. It was an interesting thing. We talked about it a lot. And we started wondering what would happen if this was a situation where these people were actually like in love with each other or really attracted to each other and just falling for each other, so that their differences of opinion and ideology wouldn't be able to just leave. You know, they would have to sort of confront them. Yeah, was the inspiration behind the film of it.
Wow.
And that's what this opening sequence is about, how they first met, and they have a little bit of an argument about that, but at the same time they also kind of fall for each other. So
it's a fantastic piece, absolutely fantastic, and I have so many questions for you, but I feel like I just butted in when Ariel was about to say something else. So was there anything else you wanted to add?
No, not really. Just it was a little tricky to shoot this opening sequence to sort of set everything in place, since there's two things happening at once. You have a sort of almost a met cute type situation of two people falling in love instantly at first sight, at the same time as they also have this argument that sets the tone for their relationship for the rest of the film. But to the degree that we pull it off, we feel like it sort of encapsulates what we found was interesting about the situation, which is that it ends up being a sort of classic tale of forbidden love, except that the forces preventing the love are internal rather than external.
Great. Fantastic. we can obviously see this wonderful location that you have of the restaurant. How did you manage to get this location, and how long did you have it for?
Years. No, but the thing is, we shot a little pilot actually a few years ago, like just to do a little crowdfunding thing, and the whole pilot was just a waiter. It was just a waiter, and he was like talking to the camera, explaining what was going to happen, right? And so for that thing, we ran around town a couple of days trying to find locations, and then we ended up finding this restaurant actually. And we just asked them, can we shoot this thing here in the evenings? We shot it there in the evening. They were really nice. And we kept in touch with them the whole time, up until the actual shoot. And we managed to get it for a few days. And Ariel, I don't know, I can't remember the details, but were they actually they happened to be closed for a sequence of days, right?
Well, it's 2 floors in that restaurant, and we shot on the upstairs floor during the summer. The inside shots are done during the summer, and they usually have the upstairs floor closed then because they have outside seating downstairs that's occupied. So, it was a little bit hairy. They said they would have to take a booking. If they got a booking, we'd have to move our schedule around. But it worked out fine. We got 4 days of shooting inside.
Yeah, and we did have to pay for it. We got a good deal, but still for our small budget, it was a big chunk of the budget. But we felt it was worth it. We just needed a.
Absolutely.
Because after we did the pilot, actually, this is the thing, we did the pilot before we even wrote the script. So when we went to write the script, we actually wrote the restaurant into the script, and we wrote the ferry because the ferry comes there and everything. So we actually just wrote that location into our script. So we absolutely had to have it. That was actually kind of terrifying because we thought, what if they pull out? We've written the whole script around this location.
Yeah, exactly. With this scene out on the pier and the lighthouse and the boat and all that, it would have meant quite a serious rewrite if we hadn't gotten it.
Yeah.
So when you say pilot, was this supposed to be a TV series, or was it just the short concept in order to get the funding for the short film?
It was just a Kickstarter video. Yeah.
Basically. Okay, cool.
But it was scripted. But it was scripted so that we had one actor who we had access to the location, and he sort of walked around speaking to the camera, breaking the fourth wall, talking about the situation between the two of them and the what would happen. This was before we'd written the script. We just had the idea for the story and the characters.
And how did the Kickstarter campaign go? I know for some of our listeners and for filmmakers of the Liftoff network, they often go down the crowdfunding route, and some have had great success and others haven't. Let's just put it that way. Is there any advice that you would give anyone who's embarking on a crowdfunding campaign?
Well, we did it. We kind of assumed coming out that, it's as a short film, it's always hard to do crowdfunding, I think, because there's no return on investment. There's kind of, you're just doing it because you like the idea and it's a fun thing and you want to be part of it. Whereas if you're, funding a feature film, it just now feels, more like a real thing, I think, to a lot of people. And you can get the DVD and, all this kind of stuff. But so we actually did it on Indiegogo because then you get to keep whatever you bring in.
Yeah.
And that helped us. We got a little bit of money that helped us, basically covered the video that was shot. and which was good because that video helped us find the location. So, it was almost just a way.
The video, exactly. That video paid off in other ways down the line because we did get some sponsors for the film later. And anytime we talked about the film or tried to tell anybody about it, it was helpful to have that video to show as a showcase for the concepts. Because once you've seen this film, I think it makes better sense than maybe somebody telling you about it if you haven't seen it. Or haven't seen anything, it doesn't maybe necessarily seem all that promising of a premise for a film. So
absolutely, and that's a really great point that you made there, because this goes hand in hand when talking to sale agents at a later date or for your next project, perhaps. We often discuss sizzle reels and visuals. So that a sizzle reel is essentially mapping out your film using other films or other inspiration, just so that people can understand what it is that you're trying to achieve. And it really, really, really does help the sale agent, especially, to get a grasp of what your project is and if they will align with it within that 2-minute video. So yeah, thank you for bringing that point up.
We actually did make a sizzle reel or whatever you want to call it for this film, but that was mainly for approaching different. We wanted to get really established, people working on board with us, the actors and the cinematographer. So we cut together from different scenes to show, sort of give the sense of the emotion of what was going on and stuff. So it didn't just sound like some kind of, political dialogue movie, that it was more about emotions than you might first think, And that helped a lot. People liked that, the little reel we made.
Let's talk about the acting, because I think it's fantastic. The performances from both of the key actors are amazing. How did you find them?
Yeah, Ariel?
Well, that was a long process. We started looking for Ingrid first because we're in Sweden and there are a lot of choices to pick from when it comes to a woman maybe early 40s or so. There's a lot of actors, a lot of good talent. So we saw a lot of we had casting for quite a while, and we saw a lot of different ones. And we ended up with one actress who we believed in and who was very good, but she ended up pulling out sort of last minute. And then we had to go back and sort of look at everybody again. Anna's first meeting with us was a little bit rushed. It was one of those meetings where everything nothing kind of caught its groove just right. So we had initially sort of passed over her, but when she came back the second time, and we're lucky that she did, she really kind of blew us away with her presence and the way that she was on camera, I think. Isa was, we got lucky there because there were not many actors, who could do the part that he does, who were not already very, very well established, but who had a lot of talent. Isa was quite well established, but he was just about right for us. And then he did a casting session over Skype and just completely blew us away. So he was kind of obvious from the get-go.
Yeah, and it was a bit rough in the beginning. We were just putting out feelers, putting out some ads ourselves, and then when it really picked up, we got in touch with an agency, and they helped us out, the casting agency, the talent agency. And there was a woman there who was an acquaintance of Ariel's, and she helped us out, both in contacting Anna, who actually is not represented by the agency, but she knew about her. And Isa was represented by the agency, and so that helped a lot. And then we did a lot of rehearsing with them. We booked that in because we knew there's so much dialogue, but we really need the emotion to be there at the same time.
Yeah. That is actually my next question. So thank you for swiftly moving into the rehearsal period. The chemistry between the two actors is, I don't know, so believable. Tell me about your rehearsal period and how you made that happen.
Well, there was a rehearsal we did right before the film, but we also did some rehearsals months ahead of time, trying to see what it would be like with him. And we even shot footage of one of the rehearsals also to show. At that point, we were still trying to get material, to help bring people on board who might be involved or sponsors or whatever. But yeah, we did was it 5 days, Mike? I think 5 days before.
I think in total it ended up being 5 days rehearsal, and three of those days were right up before the shoot. So we had it all fresh in everybody's mind when we went into the shoot. And all we did was we went over every single scene basically, and we just kept analyzing every single emotion more than the words, And then also that was really good because we could catch little things that sounded awkward, that sounded fake, and rearrange them and change them, and the actors could bring their own thoughts into it, and talk about the characters a lot too. That helped, I think, the actors. Getting in the psychology of the characters in every moment and what's happening.
It was totally indispensable, and it was great that we did it right before shooting because it was still fresh for the actors, and we didn't have that much. We only had 4 days total inside, which felt like a lot to us, but of course, and we also had to deal with the light changes and everything. So you had small windows in order to do fairly intense pieces for each of the actors. And so we were, of course, anxious, but it was just exactly right. And it was good that they had done the rehearsals because they came prepared.
One more thing about the actors is the waiter is a very good actor too. We called Richard Björk. And we actually met him during the little casting we had for the Indiegogo video where we were just casting for the waiter.
Yeah.
And he didn't end up playing the video, the waiter in that video, but he auditioned for it, and we kept in touch with him. And he actually, I guess he worked with refugees or something. He knew a lot of sort of Arabic people and stuff. So he actually he read a few versions of the script, and we kept in touch with him throughout the time. He helped us out quite a bit.
Yeah, he actually consulted a little bit in early stages of the script. We were trying to, understand the background of Issa's character on a little bit more. He spent a lot of time in Palestine and speaks Arabic and is kind of deep in the local Palestinian and Syrian community here in Gothenburg. So he introduced us to a few people, and interesting guy. He's actually quite established in Sweden as an actor. He's not A-list yet, but he's up and coming. He's been at some
he's on his way. He's on his way up.
Yeah.
And what about all the extras? 'Cause there's a lot of people in this restaurant.
Yeah, that was a challenge. Yeah. Well, what we did was we ended up realizing what we need is 2 groups of extras. So we had a couple of shots that we planned them all in one day, where you get wide shots of the whole restaurant and you see everybody, right? Make sure we get, and that's only one day. So we just put out ads saying, sorry, we can't pay you guys, but it'll be a fun project. Come on, and we'll give you food and coffee. And we had that whole restaurant, both floors, so we had a whole, set up upstairs with catering and everything. So for one day, a lot of people showed up, and that was really great. And then we had a small group of maybe 12 people that were just behind, where we're shooting, to keep it. And they had to be the same the whole time during all 4 days. So those people, we paid them, to make sure that there would be no problems with that. So that's how we worked it out. I mean, it was a lot of logistics, and we had to have an actual extras coordinator who was in charge of all the extras.
So
which
how
maybe
many
you usually don't have on a short film.
In total?
Was it like 35?
Wow.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And the big challenge turned out to be feeding all of them. Fortunately, we were in a restaurant and we had access to the kitchen during that period. So we had some friends and family helped us, cook and feed for, I guess, all the extras and the cast and the crew. It was quite a project.
Shout out to Mom for feeding all the extras.
Yeah.
She was there in the industrial kitchen.
Exactly.
Making stuff.
Yeah, she did a great job.
The other thing I'd like to talk about is the music score. I think it is fantastic, especially during the opening scenes where it really builds the tension up. Who was the composer behind this?
There's a guy called Robert Lundgren who also is from Gothenburg. And he's a professional composer. That's what he does. He started out playing in bands and stuff, but he does a lot of commercial composing for computer games and stuff like that. And we met him. I didn't know him before this. So, we were looking for composers active. We had ads out and we were talking to people. And, he wanted to do some film, I think, because he'd been doing more stuff that wasn't film, either games or commercial stuff. So that was good because he was in a position where he was willing to do it for less than he should have gotten. We still paid him. This film was kind of like we paid everybody, but not enough.
Yeah.
And he was just in the right position where that was okay for him. And we worked on it a lot. We went back and forth. We had temp music, and he tried to do something, but that didn't really work out. It wasn't feeling right, so we went a couple of rounds, and finally he got it. And it was that intro scene that set the tone. That's the first one we did. And when he got that, he went and did all the other sections. And then we went to his studio and sat there for a few days and ironed out all the details with him. But it was so cool to be able to do that with a professional composer and sit there and not just cut and paste in stuff you found online or stuff.
Yeah. Not have to worry about licenses or anything like that either if you've got a composer making it an original score. So
it was fun to watch. Sometimes he would actually compose right there in the studio while we were talking. We'd say, oh, this right here should feel a little bit more like that, and he would try 2 or 3 things, and then boom, it would be there. That's quite fun.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Do any of our other filmmakers have any questions for Michael or Ariel?
I think it's more like a technical curiosity. What was the camera that you guys used for shooting the video?
It's I can't remember the number because all these cameras have something XX, but it's a Panasonic, and it's really good. It has 2. This is really technical now, but film nerds are gonna love it. It has 2 native ISO settings.
Oh,
so
nice.
So when we get into night scenes, we just switch to the higher ISO, which is native, so it's not going to get noisy. And we shot a lot of this light here is actually the actual street lights that are there coming up, and then of course we had bouncers and reflectors and a little bit of LED lights there. But Sarah, who shot the film, Sarah Kzan, she's also, really good. She knows what she's doing. She made it look fantastic.
Yeah, I like very much the photography.
Thanks.
It's a Vericam as a series.
Thank you.
I have a question about the script. The man sitting at the table speak a lot about his religion, Islamic religion. How did you choose what to say and what not to say?
Oh, that's a long process. It took us a long time to write this script.
Yeah, it took a very long time.
I mean, a lot of it was based on emotions. We were trying to get to the emotions. So, we've talked about this a few times. Basically, the breakthrough happened really when we realized that they should be trying to avoid talking about their political, religious differences. What they're trying to do is avoid that the whole time and just get into what they really want, which is to be real with each other. But somehow, because they're so focused on that's like their worldview is really important to them. They keep coming back, keep slipping back, and so we were going from the emotions, and then we ended up, I can't remember all the details. We ended up in different situations, and then we would do research, of course. Some of the stuff we wanted maybe not what a political or a religious leader would say, but what somebody, just a regular Muslim who's really devoted would say. And so we found some forums actually where people were discussing their religion and their struggles with their religion and things like that, and we used some of that stuff quite a bit. But we also grew up in a religious family, and in some ways it's not that different. So we could also draw on our own experiences as well.
Okay.
But the idea with the Adnan characters, it's not just that he's Muslim. There's this section of speech where he actually talks about that he feels a lot of people who are Islamic or call themselves Islamists have been compromised and aren't really practicing true Islam and so on. The idea with him is that he is, he considers himself to be properly, devoutly Muslim. So we assume that he's probably something like, maybe Muslim Brotherhood or something like that. He is a political Muslim, and he believes in a much more strict interpretation of the Quran and tries to live by it than maybe some of the people he's around. And you get that early in the film when she says that the person who introduced the two of them, who's also Muslim, says, "Oh, he doesn't seem to have a problem shaking my hand," and Adnan says, "Well, his obedience to God is not for me to judge," and so on. But to all of that, finding out, what it is that people like that actually believe was a big project, and we did a lot of research for that.
No.
So, my final question then to both of you is, what is next for the film, and what is next for you as filmmakers?
Well, we have some nice things coming up for the film. They're not official yet, so we can't announce them, but there's a couple of festivals coming up, and I'm excited about those. And this is just the beginning of the festival run, so that'll go on for a while.
Amazing. Hopefully you'll be able to go to the cinemas and actually watch them on the big screen instead of these online festivals that have been taking place during the pandemic. So
both of these upcoming festivals are actually going to be live still. They're still planning to be live, so
that's good.
Unfortunately, they're not in Sweden, but
are you going to be able to attend them?
I'm hoping. It depends on the regulations.
Yeah, it depends. Different countries have different rules still, so we have to keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, if we have any more questions for you, if any questions come through in the chat room, I will make sure to ask you guys before the end of the stream. But let's move on to the next film. So, Lucio, let's move on to your film, The Yellow Queen. So that is now playing my side, so you'll be able to see it any second now. But tell us about the inspiration behind this piece and how you found the subject and the bus.
Okay, let's start saying that The Yellow Queen is my first feature film.
Very cool.
And it's a winning bet for me because I met. Everything started with the casual meeting with Christian in Milan. He was engaged with a friend of mine and was living at that time in Bamako, in Mali. We had a little chat, and I say, I would like very much to join your during one of your trip, and he was enthusiastic about this idea. But then I want to film you because I think we have something to tell here. And you agree. Then I wrote down a script for a competition. We won this competition for unconventional travel, and
wow. Okay. Cool.
We had some money to start, and we were obliged to start to leave because we were obliged to produce something like 15 minutes in 6 months. So we started. We live with Christian at just the day before our departure. He found the Yellow Queen, and he was very happy because this yellow bus in the desert. When I saw it, I was so happy. I was really happy. But the travel was not easy at all because I really had to gain his trust because he was thinking of me as a journalist or somebody looking for a scoop. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so he didn't trust me at the beginning, and I may say till Bamako he doesn't trust me. So it was not easy at all. 21 days of trip together, and when we came back in Rome, at that time I was still in Rome, I think. Yes, and I was not happy about the shooting.
Oh, really?
Yeah, okay. We missed something. So I asked him to do the trip a second time. So 18 months later, we did the trip a second time. You cannot see this in the film, of course. It's the magic of the cinema. But at that time, we found the true story. It was I was able to film people, local people. I mean, it was really interested to tell other stories than Christian stories. He is like my Virgilio. If you know the Divina Commedia, Virgilio accompanied Dante. Virgilio accompanied Dante to discover the hell, and Christian was my Virgilio to discover Africa. I've never traveled in that countries. It was a really good surprise. Also discovered that they're not waiting for our help. Not at all. They just want to live their life and have their fate, their destiny in their hands. And and I really like to show this in the film because for me it's really political and important. I really appreciate the short film of these two men here because they speak about sentiment, but it's a real political film. It's something important for all of us. So and I think that cinema has this kind of also the other one I have to say, Irene. Totally. But I think this is the most important things that we can achieve with a film. Despite of success, festivals, or everything, I do cinema to say something to the audience, or also just to put questions. Because I don't have the truth. I don't have the truth. Nobody has. But when you arrive to put some questions and to maybe let's start some, I don't know, thinking about it. And what else? Then we have the film. And I'm very happy about it. It's going well. He's doing his trip through the festivals. We have already almost 10 selections and three prizes, so very happy about the results till now so far.
And as we were talking about online screenings, do you have any screenings coming up where you'll be able to see this in a cinema space?
It's not scheduled at the moment. We're waiting for answer from different festivals.
Yeah.
Maybe we are going to sign a contract to distribute the film in Russia and Baltic countries.
So you have a sale agent lined up then?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's very nice because I've studied in Russia, so there's something that, just make this
going this full circle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Great. Are you able to tell us a little bit more about the process of how you managed to get a sale agent on board or interested in your project?
I think I have to say that was through your festival, because they watched the film in the Manchester Film Festival, and they wrote me down an email asking me if I was interested to distribute the film in Russia, CSI, and Baltic countries. So thank you.
Yeah, amazing. Well, really well done on getting the support of the state agent and getting it out in the world. Is it going to go on different VOD platforms, or is it going into cinema distribution?
For the moment, just VOD platforms. Yeah.
Amazing. Fantastic. That is like a filmmaker's dream, to get their film available and out there to the audience. So congratulations on that. Let's go back to the film and talk a little bit more about, you said that this shoot was originally 21 days, or the journey was 21 days, and then you had to reshoot some things because you didn't quite get what you wanted on the first time, so you had to wait 18 months and then do it again. There must have been so many more hiccups and things that you had to overcome in order to get this documentary to where it is today and what we're seeing on screen. Do you have any of those moments that you can share with us?
You mean difficulties?
Difficulties that you overcame, yeah.
Yeah, but we have how many time we have?
Okay, top two difficulties.
Yeah, well, the most difficult things was really put this 60 hours of material together to give a sense to everything. And I have to say thank you 1,000 times to the chief editor, Martina Moore, because she helps me a lot just to kill my darlings, because I have a lot of materials that finally is not in the film, but we achieve an agreement just saying that we have a starting point. We have Bamako as the final point, the arrival point in this film. So we start with this. And then we find a way to put my presence in the film as a witness of Christian work, and also as a witness of the people that I meet during the trip, and especially in Bamako, because as I said, it's a living country, and they are just wonderful people, and they deserve a decent life. So, yes, too much difficult. Just put lines, just to understand what to put inside. But at the end, I think it's a good product. It's and I like it. This is, I think, one of the most important things at the end, when the director likes the film. It's already something.
Definitely. 60 hours of footage condensed into an hour. And it's an hour and a half or 90 minutes, this film, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, that must have been a lot of cutting away and just nailing it down. And that is what is nice with having multiple editors. They can kind of take charge and scope the story without the director's input, of where sometimes you can get, I don't want to say precious about what material should go into the film, and sometimes that hinders it rather than aids the story. So having that outside perspective does really work.
You're just too much into the story. You're just too much into the mother. You're not able to see it from a proper distance. And then when you meet somebody that is able to do it, you can say, no, this is really important. I want it. Or this is not, you're right.
Yeah. So this is your first feature documentary.
Yeah.
What have your other films been like? Have they all been documentaries as well, or have you done have you done narrative work as well?
Yeah, I did a couple of short film, and one with my daughter when she was 3.5, and it's one of my best film. I think it's just 2 minutes, but, and it's about nature and our connection with nature. What does it mean if we want to save this planet? And it went very well. It was shortlisted on a mondial contest built up by the WWF.
Oh wow!
In a different festival, and finally we won a prize in Sydney. So this is, but yes, And we made another one just 1 month ago with the 2 daughters this time, and I'm working on the editing by myself this time because it's a short.
Yeah.
And and it's a fiction, so inspired by the Little Prince. But maybe you are going to ask me what next?
Well, yeah, go on. What's after that?
Yeah. This short film, and inspired by the Little Prince, by Saint-Exupéry, and we take the occasion to speak about freedom and what does it mean, especially in this time where governments are asking us to stay home all the time and doing, I think, not enough. Yeah. So still, again, I think I'm able just to do something that it's about politics in the higher sense of this word. Huh?
Yeah, sure. Okay, well, we look forward to seeing that and seeing how you get on with those other projects. But I'm quite interested in your background as well, because you studied, was it acting in Russia?
Yeah, I studied acting and direction in Russia a long time ago.
What technique did you specifically study?
It was mainly about the Giddis Academy. How can I translate this is in English? It's biodynamic.
Whoa,
and it's about what you need, what is necessary to tell a story. Then you can do it in a theater, in a theatrical show, or in a film. But it's let's say it's just understand what you really need to tell the story. What I said before this, before starting this with you, to the other directors, that I was very happy to see their films, because I think they are essential. They don't just put pictures like this or in a very beautiful way. And in that case, we have let me use this metaphor. We have a very nice bottle. It's a wonderful bottle, but inside you have Coke. And maybe it's better to have a bottle that it's not so nice, so beautiful, but inside you have a great wine.
Yeah.
So
okay.
This is in 2 words. Then I cannot say much more about this school. But at the end, I was trying to follow this direction from the beginning. And I started with the theater. And when I was 30, I said to myself, I cannot survive doing theater or just a theatrical director. And I found my way in this kind of industry, because I can work as a freelance, as a filmmaker.
And using your background as acting will only ever aid you when it comes to talking to Christian, for example, who is the subject within this film, or working with actors to get those emotions out. So I feel any experience that you have within this industry will always aid whatever the project you're working on. So I think that's perfect.
But finally, with Christian, we were agree about something really basic and fundamental. We agree on the fact that we can help each other. That solidarity is something really important. That we have to watch. We cannot just say that we know everything from the beginning. We learn every day. It's a long life learning, and we can learn, especially from people of Africa. They are there since ever.
Do our filmmakers have any questions that you'd like to ask? Now's an opportunity to.
I was kind of curious about the actual experience of you going along and filming. I mean, were you just by yourself? Were you filming and doing the audio and everything? Were you sleeping in the bus? What was it like?
No. We were 4 people. There were an assistant producer and another cameraman, He made the photography, the cinematography with me, Giovanni Franzoi, and then we have a photographer, Alessandro Bianchi, that made all the pictures of the film. And the assistant producer, let's say, was working also as how do you say in English? Sound designer, sound technician. Yeah. So we were 5 in the bus, more Gilles, more Max, that at the end made up also some original soundtrack for the film. Max Koenig, the one with the dread. Yeah.
Who played the guitar?
Sorry? Who played the guitar?
The guitar player, yeah.
Never stopped playing guitar. I was killing him at some point. Please give me some silence.
Yeah.
Did I understand you correctly before to say that you said that you actually, with Christian, that you actually made 2 whole trips to Mali and back?
No, the second one we started from Dakar, in West Sahara.
But did you have a different bus then, or you went back and drove again with the same bus?
No, we have a different bus the second time.
Different bus. So you only could do inside shots then, right? So all the exterior shots have to be from the first.
Yeah.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, from inside the bus to the exterior, from inside the bus to the exterior, and then a lot of material that is in the film about the people I met in Bamako. That was on the second trip, and Christian was really helpful also to introduce me to Thiam, for example, the guy in Bamako, really engaged with the young people doing politics.
Is he the one that you spoke to in the end, who was talking about that he thought it was mostly a problem of management, the reason why you have people leaving the country and so on? Is that who you mean?
Sorry, can you repeat?
There was somebody you spoke to toward the end of the film, and you were talking about the issues in Africa and specifically in Mali, and people leaving the country. And he said that sometimes he can feel upset at some of the people who do, because there are opportunities in the country, and that the problem is not an absence of opportunity, but an absence of good management.
Yeah. Yeah, it is exactly like that. And it is not just that African politicians are not good, but they are not really free. I have to say, I'm sorry, but France is still there, and they manage a lot of things in a very strong way. I mean, I would say violence way, because just if we think about the fact that the money they have, I mean, really the money, the CFR, it's printed in France, and it's the same money for Mali, Senegal, Cote d'Ivoire, and all this part of Africa, and it's changed against euro, and it makes no sense if you're speaking about independent countries.
No.
So when they say we have a problem with management of our politicians, it's also because they are not really free. And all the time they try to change the direction, also, for example, to escape from the CFA, this money. Something happened, like a golpe, like a coup d'etat, like something, I don't know, a terrorist act. And come on, we know this story. So Thiam is not happy about the people leaving his country. He's right, because it's time to fight for your country. Yeah, it's time to stand up, really, and they're doing in their way, but they're doing. Yeah. And as you see, the Yellow Queen is there. If you watch the film till the end, just the very end, there's a picture of the bus running Mali.
Okay, well, thank you so much for sharing your stories and letting us into all the secrets behind the Yellow Queen. Thank you.
No, not all the secrets. I have a lot more to say.
Well, maybe we can find out a little bit more about that later. But let's move on to the final film. So I'm just going to start that up now. So that is starting there. We've got the lovely text at the beginning, which instantly explains how this film came around. So, Carolina and Irene, why don't you tell us a little bit more?
Actually, I only got involved in the project a little bit after, because Hel and Carolina had arranged this photo shoot kind of session. That was the plan. And actually, I think the tension maybe of the photo shoot that had to happen in that moment led Carolina to say, you know what, let's have a conversation first. Just gonna put the camera here and we're gonna talk. And then actually this happened.
Yes, normally when we make a movie, we plan to make a movie. This time we didn't plan at all. So it was basically about the photo shoot. Hel is a very dear friend of mine for years now. And also French, I'm sorry, also got me a little bit surprised with the whole transition process because it's something new. So also was more like, I trust you, because it was like a trusting moment, because they asked me, can you record this moment, take a picture for me to see maybe in a few years how the process happened. So I said, yeah, sure, come over, let's have a coffee and I'll take a picture. And exactly what Irene just said, it's not an easy process, because for the first time would be something out there of this process of transition process, that it's not that easy for the person involved. So yeah, we didn't plan to make a movie, but exactly how she said, I just asked, okay, I'm gonna ask you a few questions. The camera was already there, and let's talk and let's see what happens. Because for me, the process of being behind the camera takes a lot of responsibility. The moment you point a camera at someone, you need to take responsibility for whatever comes out of it. So I think it was a trusting moment between the two of us, them, because they knew they will never do anything to disrespect or to do anything bad about the whole process. And it was like a bonding moment, and very, very...
In our house.
In our house, basically. It was in our house. So it's a very intimate movie, to be honest, that I never thought to put out there. But at some point, talking also to Hel, we said, you know what? They said to me, I'm ready to be out. And so that made us apply and put the movie out there, to be honest. So.
And what was her reaction the first time Hel watched the movie?
Their reaction.
Their reaction.
Sorry.
Yes. No, but it's okay. The first time, actually, I think the first thing they said to me, oh, it looks like I have muscles with the light. And I said, are you happy with that? And they said, yes, very. So the first reaction was completely connected to the image. Not the content of the message, but the image.
Yeah.
Actually, the conversation was way longer than actually you can see. But also because they decided, you know what, there are a few things that I don't want to talk about in public. So I decided to take out. So there's a few parts of the movie that is already edited to be outside and to be, and for them, most of all, as I said, the camera responsibility. And also when you export a little video out of your timeline is another responsibility as well. So I always said to them, whatever you decide, we're gonna go with it.
And I think there was quite some time between the first time that it was out, in the sense that we watched it together, and the first time it was out for other people to see it also. I think there was a whole process.
Yes. It was last year, and only now we put outside the video.
Manchester Liftoff was the first time. Brought it into the world.
Amazing. And
because it was a process for Hel to say, you know what, now I'm ready. It took a year. And again, as they well say in the beginning, there's no one guiding book of transition. So it's a process, and it's going to take a lifetime happening. So it's always also changes the way they deal with the movie, they react to the movie, and how they want their image to be out or not.
So with that in mind, you say you submitted to the Manchester Liftoff Film Festival, and that was one of the first festivals you submitted to. Where is this film going next? Are you doing the whole festival circuit, or are you selecting different areas within the festival circuit to showcase this film? What's the plan?
We're definitely selecting places. Actually, this weekend it's screening in India in an international queer film festival.
Amazing.
And every time that we decide whether we submitted, there's a lot of submissions. We're waiting for the results still. We have a conversation between the three of us to make sure that everyone's on board with the policy and the concept of the festival as well. It's not just getting it out there, although that is something that I think is important, and I also understand that it's not my face and my story being told in the movie, so maybe it's a little bit easier. But I feel that the reactions we got from people who saw the film in the Manchester Liftoff Festival were really positive and from very different angles. People from within the queer community, people from completely outside of the community who have never been in touch with these kind of stories, that are very touched and very as a lot of people say, like, it feels like an intimate conversation with a really dear friend. Like, I don't know this person, but the moment I start watching it, this is how I experience it. And I think that's important, to have this positivity surrounding this topic and the coming out part of it as well, and
opening the discussion, because it's funny, it's my mother called me after she watched the movie, and she said, "I'm calling you because I'm Googling and I'm not finding the answers that I'm trying to find. I don't understand what's happening. Wait." And I understand that, because it's that's why also I totally agree with Lucio said, at least for me as well, movies, not all the time, because cinema doesn't have the responsibility of changing societies or anything. If anything, it's more like a reflect. But it's good when you can also put questions more than answers. I love to put questions out there and open up the debate. So to have my mother, who's almost 70, calling me and say, "Can you please explain that to me?" But in a very normal way, without any defense. And that's pretty much the kind of reaction that we have received so far. So opening the debate also for us, because we are not experts in transitioning. I am not transitioning, Irene is not transitioning, and even if we were, wouldn't be the same thing. As I said before, there is no guide of how you do it. There's no right way, or there are good questions, but we don't have all the range of answers about it.
Wow. Well, the credits are just coming up on the screen, my side. So we managed to speak about that without delving into a little bit more into the film. So what I'll do is I'll move us over to the full screen so we can continue talking. So where is the film screening next?
We had the lucky opportunity, actually through you, Natalie, and the Manchester Liftoff Film Festival, to been put in touch with Pause TV, and we had our first 24-hour screening there last weekend. We're very grateful that they took on the film and that they wanted to support us in getting it out there. And this weekend, the film is being screened as part of the Queer International Film Festival in Pune in India, which is a place where I studied, so it's very dear to me also to know the queer community in India a little bit and to see that it's being part of the conversation there as well.
So with the Pause TV, did you do the Q&A after the screening of the film, or was it just running for 24 hours?
It was just running for 24 hours. We had a long conversation about that, and I think for the next time that definitely needs to be on the menu. But unfortunately, we were not in a position to organize that in the short notice that they gave us. Like, we want your film and we want it now. So, but that
just
was
getting
good.
Exposure is what you want. So yeah,
that was nice.
But that's the thing. As soon as live screenings start again, and you can get up and network with the other filmmakers that attend film festival, or the audience, especially at more niche film festivals, you'll definitely be spreading your voice and getting the right people, or eyes on your film from the right people.
Yeah.
Do you have any? Are you going to be expanding this story? Are you going to be creating it into a feature, or are you moving on to a different project completely for your next one?
I think it's not off the table to continue recording this process.
Yeah.
And maybe bit by bit, we're going to come up with a feature movie in the end. That's not off the table. Let's see how it goes. Because as I said, it's so intimate that we never know what can happen or not.
And I think you sit in a really great position where you have a finished short film, which you can use as a proof of concept, and then this is what you want to tell, this is how we're going to expand it. You just have everything in place in order to do what you want to do with it. I could also see this as a mini series that was available on TV, or on other VOD platforms.
Yes.
So definitely keep going with this.
Yes, thank you.
Are there any questions from our filmmakers?
I would like just to say congratulations about the intimate touch. May I, if I may say, it's a really nice film. Thank you very much, Irene. And sorry.
Carolina.
Okay, cool. What was it that made you both want to get into filmmaking?
Well, to be honest, I think I'm working in audiovisual for quite some time already, but I was always working on other people's movies. So I am the editor. Normally, that's my professional gig, is I'm a professional editor. So I worked editing for television for quite some time. And at some point, and parallel, I was working with filmmakers in Brazil, especially. So at some point I said, you know what, I have my own stories and I want to go, because it's always for me, it was always a preparation. And as you said, Kill Your Darlings, it's funny because for me, since I do low budget production so far, and I like it, to be honest, normally I concentrate all the roles that I can, and I need to learn how to let go of things, because normally I do the camera, and we work a lot with dance, for example. So I do the camera and I also do the editing. What I do is a process that I don't know how I do, but I think I managed to do. I disconnect the person who held the camera from the person editing. And I have no pity in killing my darlings at all. Sometimes I make a beautiful shot and I say, this is so sad because this is going to, of course, it would never be in the first cut. So I need at least a month to come to the point that I'm able of killing my darlings, but I'll get there. Also, I have Irene. She has a very objective eye. And she says, you know what's beautiful, but it's not working. So let go.
Well, good. You'll need someone like that.
For me, that question is much more recent, actually, because I'm a dancer and a choreographer, so I come from a very different background. And when we met about 3 years ago, we also started working together. So that's actually the point where that started. And for me, it has a lot to do with the physicality of the body in front of the camera, the movement, whether it's choreography in the dancey sense of the word, or the choreography of where people are placed, how they relate to the camera, and how they relate to each other in things. So that's
we would love to work more in the kind of experimental film. So it's very much what we like to do. And also what's something that's really important to us is a very queer feminist point of view of telling a story, in the sense that we love to create strong female characters, and most of all, we love to have female professionals working behind the cameras also. So normally we try to work, like for example, the next week we have a shooting of our next movie, and 3 scenes of our next movie, and I think we have the majority, I think
15 women.
Wow.
Yes.
Working on this movie. like behind the camera doing costumes and decor and the camera, audio, and
everything. Yeah.
Everything.
Basically. Yeah.
Great. Well, good luck with that shoot, and good
Thank
luck with
you.
everything that you are all working on. It's been an absolute pleasure having you all here talking about your films and just like letting us listen in to all your experiences and sharing those experiences. And thank you for taking part in the Manchester Lifter Film Festival. As a festival, we cannot wait to get back to live screenings as well and just meet people in person. That's what we're all about. So can't wait for the next couple of months to see what happens until we can get in those cinema spaces. But yeah, it has been great having you on the stream here today. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you guys for
Thank
your
you very much.
nice watching your movies. I really enjoyed them.
Yeah.
Bye.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
guys.
Thank you very much. Bye. Good luck to everybody.
You
You
too.
too.
Everyone.